I'd like to introduce you to the Little Sprouts Baby Blanket, a crochet design by me, Madam Stitch. In this video, I'll talk about the design and construction, the yarn I used and what I recommend for this beautiful little baby blanket, and where you can get the pattern to make your very own. So let's get started. The design of this blanket is really quite simple. It actually started with the yarn. For the first time, I used Premier Yarn's Cotton Sprout Speckles, this one right here, which I'll talk about later. I wanted to create a design that highlighted the beautiful qualities of the yarn. Sometimes my designs start with the yarn like this one does, instead of with the design idea, where the yarn would be chosen second after I got an idea of what the design is. I chose to make this particular version of the baby blanket in a security size, which is 17 inches by 20 inches. So it's small enough for a baby or a toddler to carry around as a security blanket. So the thought is, think Linus in the Charlie Brown cartoons. As for the stitches I chose to include, it's no secret that I love Granny Stitch. It's my favorite stitch. So that had to be included in this cute little blanket. I paired it with the herringbone half double crochet, creating alternating sections of open work and solid in the body of the blanket. Those alternating sections create a lighter weight fabric that has beautiful drape and breathability, because you never know when that little guy might fall asleep with a blanket draped over him, and it creates a lot of breathability for any season of the year. If you've never worked the herringbone half double crochet, have no fear. I have a video tutorial for that. I'll make sure and include the link in the description of this whole video tutorial, whole video about. The half double crochet, herringbone half double crochet, is just a regular half double crochet, except when you insert the hook, yarn over, and pull up the first loop, instead of stopping to start a new step, you continue to pull that loop through the second loop that's on your hook. This extra little step causes this stitch to slant as you work your way across the row, creating the look of a herringbone, which is slanted this way and slanted this way in the next row, and so on and so forth. It's a pattern that you may have seen in men's suits, like at the end of the last half of the 20th century. That fabric was pretty common. You'll still see it occasionally, but it's not quite as common. You can't really see it very well because of the yarn that I used in this particular blanket, but there is a slight slant to it, giving it just a little bit less of a block look. But it pairs really well with the granny stitch. For that alternating open and solid effect on the body of the blanket. You'll find the herringbone half double crochet really easy to work. Trust me, it's just a matter of getting that. If you pull the first loop up, taking that extra step before you stop, you'll get it. I promise. The construction of the Little Sprouts baby blanket is really quite simple. The blanket is worked in one piece. It starts with the body, which is worked back and forth in rows. So this is where you're going to find the granny stitches and the herringbone half double crochet that I talked about in the previous segment. Then a border of shells are worked around the body for a nice finishing touch. But this isn't a typical shell border. This border has 2 rounds of shell stitches. It's actually 4 rounds. A round of chain stitches that create a foundation to work those shell stitches in. So you can see these are where the chains are worked. Then the shells in the first round are worked into that chain. Then there's another round of chains across between those shell stitches of the first round, and then you work shells in that chain space. So this particular border has 2 rounds of shell stitches, taking 4 rounds to make it. Now, what's beautiful about this particular border is that it creates this wonderful, lightweight, open work border without being too heavy. It's also very customizable. So you could stop after the first round of shells and just have what's a typical round of shells. Um, you can also go beyond the second round of shells and create 3, 4, 5, however many you want, because the pattern is highly adaptable and very repeatable. So that's a great place for you to customize the size of your blanket. As I said earlier, Premier Yarns Cotton Sprout Speckles is a new yarn to me. I'm always on the lookout for new affordable yarns that are beautiful, soft, and durable. Cotton Sprout is all of that. Look at this beautiful ball. The colors are gorgeous. The drape is gorgeous. Everything about this yarn. I loved working with it. It is easily the softest cotton I've ever worked with, and I'll use it again in a heartbeat. It's a DK weight yarn, which is my go-to weight for lightweight baby blankets. I don't do a lot of baby blankets in worsted weight. So when I do choose a worsted weight, I usually choose something that's a little bit lighter in that weight category. So I tend to go toward DK weight yarns. I wanted this blanket to be used all year round. So while Cotton Sprout is on the heavier end of the DK weight spectrum, it also provides a lot of drape. So what you'll notice is, get the end of it here, it is, because it's made of cotton fiber, a little bit thicker. It could possibly be a light worsted weight, but it's just a really gorgeous soft yarn. Speckles, the Cotton Sprout line, has a lot of solid colors to it. The Speckles have these intermittent colors in different colorways, so you have some options when you go to choose your yarn. Of course, you can use any DK weight cotton or cotton blend that's appropriate for baby. Whatever you choose to use, just make sure it's really soft, that it provides a lot of drape, and the gauge isn't quite as important in this baby blanket because you can fudge a little bit, but just make sure that it's comparable to a heavier DK weight cotton or cotton blend. Now it's time to talk about where you can find the pattern. If you like to make blankets, crochet projects from free patterns on the blog, you're in luck, because I put the 17 by 20 version of this blanket on the blog. So you can see it there, free to use, bookmark the page, just make sure that you have it saved so you can keep coming back to it when you need the instructions. I also have a PDF version available in my Ravelry, Etsy, and Lovecraft shops. The PDF is formatted for easy reading, it's free of ads, and it can be uploaded to your favorite mobile device. If you're like me, every crochet project, unless it's just a huge blanket, which this is not, gets carried to some sort of event. Right now we're in Little League season, so I do a lot of crocheting at Little League baseball games. But the PDF is a great way to, you can either put it on your mobile device or you can print it out so you can make notes on it for later. When you make your pattern, be sure to tag me, Madam Stitch, on social media when you make your very own Little Sprouts baby blanket. I can't wait to see what you do with it. Um, I love to see color choices, yarn choices, customizations, everything that you'd love to do with your blanket. Take a picture of the little one using it. I love to see that too. But just make sure you tag me. On Instagram, it's Madam Stitch. Um, on Pinterest, it's Madam Stitch. On YouTube, it's Madam Stitch Crochet. And my Facebook page is Madam Stitch Crochet as well. All right, folks, have fun making your blanket and gifting it to that special little one. I can't wait to see them.